Hey, what's up, man? So today we got Brisco in the house, man. What's up, Brisco?
What's up? What's up? I ain't nobody, man. I'm just a Grammy Award winner from Miami.
There we go, man. No, hey, the Opalika Don up in this building, man. Po Boy Records representative, serious Florida legend, man, in the building, man. My Florida cats are gonna love this one, man. So, man, let's talk about what you've been up to lately, man. So, what's new with you, Brisco?
Man, I just been grinding, man. I just been working business, you know what I'm saying? Taking care of my 3 kids, man. It's just been a blessing just to be out of prison, you know what I'm saying? I'm 5 years removed from the federal system, so everything feels great.
Okay, I feel that, man. I'm with that. Now, you have had a long and storied history in this rap game, and you came in the rap game during the time that they call the Florida explosion in rap, right?
Right. The movement. It was called a movement.
Yep, and that was dubbed by one of your other contemporaries, a guy by the name of DJ Khaled, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great friend.
Now we're gonna talk about your history and some of your amazing relationships in rap. But man, I gotta throw a monkey wrench in the game. I want to start off somewhere crazy, man, because there was some breaking news recently that I want to ask you about. Now, recently, the rapper The Game went on to diss one of the rappers that you share a label with, one of your brothers, the guys that you've been locked in with, Rick Ross, man. Have you heard the Game's diss to the rapper Rick Ross?
I actually did. I think the Game should have took another approach. Picked another beat. Nah, I don't think. Like I think as an artist, you got to pick your battles, and you have to prepare for your battles. So I just think Don wasn't prepared for his battle. He ain't prepared for Ross. Ross will take him up through there.
Now, to be honest, Brisco, they're gonna say that you're gonna be biased, of course, because you know Rick Ross is the home team, and we're gonna get to a little bit of that.
Yeah, Game the home team too. I love Game. I love the Game, but you know, when you talk about Ross, and you talk about his lyrical range, and you talking about his presentation. Nah, you don't do it like that. If I was Game, I would have did a video, a nice one, in that in the beautiful city of LA. You know what I'm saying? And I would have did a beautiful video, like one of the movies they do out there. Not just put out no record that's subpar.
Okay, nah, that's a good take and interesting to say the least, because you know you've actually been in battles before. You've actually been known for your penmanship in this rap game, and there's a lot going on in this rap game right now as far as beef. But on the topic of Ross and on the topic of Po Boy, what is your relationship? Could you give everybody an understanding of Po Boy Records and how you got back with them back in the day, and how long you've been with them today?
Shouts out to my late cousin G12. G12 died of brain cancer in 2012. But Cuz was best friends with E-Class, so him being best friends with E-Class, I always rapped. You know what I'm saying? One of our associates, if not one of our homies, was Big Will, which is Teflon Don, which is y'all know by Rick Ross. So we was always clicked up and we was always cool. But the untimely passing of Po Boy, we named a label after one of our friends. His name was Po Boy. He was murdered in 1999. So when he got murdered, that was our that prompted us to name the company Po Boy. From there, we always been repping on one accord and developed the brotherhood.
Now, when you first linked up with Po Boy, what was it originally as a rapper, or was it cats that you had already just been hanging out with in the neighborhood?
Nah, we was just a clique, like we was just a crew at first, and I guess we were just a talented ass crew. You know what I'm saying? I remember Ross battling in Bootleggers, one of the clubs we got down here called Bootleggers. He used to be battling in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Rapping in the parking lot with a nigga named Dean. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, we always been musically inclined and into the music.
Okay, so you knew Rick Ross as a battle rapper as well, because we've only seen Rick Ross being put in the under fire on the main stage when he went at it with 50 Cent. You know, that was huge.
Yeah,
And
Ross always been. Ross ain't never bite his tongue on no track. You know what I'm saying? Ross gonna say what he mean and mean what he say. So, um, shots out the fat boy. You know what I'm saying?
nah, that's what's up, because Rick Ross was dubbed the winner in the battle against 50 Cent. You know, it was like the only L that 50 Cent.
Yeah. I mean, his lyrical range is Goliath. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the pen, and you know, Ross was the first guy who ever gave me. He was the first nigga that let me rap. So I owe everything the beginning of my career to Rick Ross. And I've been studying dog for forever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and that's evident throughout your career, right? Because you are one of the main feature artists on the album Port of Miami, which is legitimately a hip hop classic, a Southern classic, and was the breakout album for that Florida explosion. And you're featured prominently on that album, man. So what was it like being featured on an album like Port of Miami, man?
I actually snuck my way on that song. I frauded and scammed my way on that song because that song was getting mixed at Hit Factory, and I was a studio rat, man. I used to be in the studio at 9, leave the studio with everybody else, leave the studio after them. You know what I'm saying? So at that time when he was mixing the record, he was mixing Port of Miami. I just was hearing Wayne's verse, I was hearing his verse, and I was like, damn, it's only 2 verses. The song is short. So when everybody left, I said, let me just take a crack at it. I did a verse. When Ross and E-Class went to review the album before they turned the album in, they heard my verse. They kept my verse on there. So hey, you hear it now, so I guess I did good.
Yeah, that is a win like no other. Now you said that you kind of finessed your way onto an album, but it would surprise people that you were able to finesse your way onto a classic album, man. It's crazy.
On a classic song that one of my favorite artists in the world, Lil Wayne, was on. You know what I'm saying? So I just took a leap of faith. I always step out on faith first. So I took a leap of faith, and man, God is good, man.
Obviously, and there's been plenty of times in your career where you've been blessed. Now, do you attribute that to your work ethic, or do you feel like you just were in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, my work ethic, keeping God first, my work ethic, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I always want to rap. I always want to write. You know what I'm saying? I'm a traditional writer. I write with a pen and a pad. You know what I'm saying? I don't write on my phone like these new niggas. So, my pen is grandfathered into the game.
Okay. Now, it's obvious that after your appearance on I'ma G with Lil Wayne and Rick Ross, Lil Wayne already at that time was a legend. Everybody knew what was coming. But how in the world did that affect your moving around in the industry, I want to ask?
I mean, it was a blessing that, Wayne was here in Miami, due to a misfortune, Hurricane Katrina, they was misplaced to come to Miami. And Miami is where they landed. So coming to Miami, I was one of the hardest things at DJ Khaled birthday party. I think it was in '07, DJ Khaled birthday party. I performed, you know what I'm saying? And I took another leap of faith. Hey, Sam Sneak, when Ross finished this set, hey, play my I had this record called You Might Be the Police at the time. And man, that went crazy after Ross performed. Sam Sneak played my shit. I owe a lot to Sam Sneak for that. He played my shit. I went up. They went back to the fucking studio that night. Wayne went back to the studio where Birdman was. Like I say, he was dating Trina, so it just got around that them boys was looking at me and they thought I was hot. So I just immediately started saying I was with Cash Money immediately. You know what I'm saying? One day Wayne called and said, hey, Briss, man, he can make it. I hate you screaming this Cash Money shit, man. Let's make this official. So I hung up on him the first time. He called me back like, nigga, come to the Hit Factory. Let's make it official. I recognized his voice. I could tell by his voice that it was Wayne. So I shot over there. First day I met him, we did All in the Hood and about 5 more other records. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So immediately you guys got right to work once you established that relationship with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, the chemistry was there, man. I mean, dog embraced me like I was a hot boy from the beginning, and yeah, we still friends to this day.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. Because eventually you were featured on some more huge projects. Like you were on the We the Best compilation album from DJ Khaled, man.
Yes.
So I wanted to delve a little bit into your history with a little bit more of your history in the rap industry, I should say. But you were featured prominently on an album called We the Best, man, which was really, really changed the tide in hip hop music, to say the least, right? Now you were on a song called I'm From Dade County, featuring Trick Daddy, Trina, Rick Ross, Flo Rida, yourself and Dre, right? Now, after that song, your appearance on that song, and after DJ Khaled eventually went on to become this huge star, with his appearance on that Koch record album, how do you feel things were changing for you personally? You know what I mean?
Man, I mean, just getting on that album, just going crazy, man. Khaled really opened the door for me when it came to the Dade County and put me on, you know what I'm saying, and give me that opportunity to shine. So I owe a lot to Khaled, man. Khaled was instrumental in me even signing the Cash Money. So I love you, Khaled. Thank you for everything you did for me, man. And when I got out of prison, dog gave me 50 big ones.
So you're basically calling the rap beef with Drake and Kendrick Lamar for who? Who do you think is winning?
I think it's won already. Not like us, it's just too big of a record. It has a whole coast. I think Kendrick won the beef by having the biggest, ending up having the biggest record out of the beef. But as far as the records, I don't think Push Up was topped until Not Like Us. I don't think the Heart 6 was I don't think the last one that Drake had did was matched. So I think Drake was winning until Not Like Us.
Nah, and that's fair. That's how a lot of people are calling it. They're saying push-ups because Drake has this rare ability to make a diss song, but you could ride to it. Like it could play in the club and do things like that. Do you believe in that? Do you believe?
Yeah, I think that's granted because he'd have been on so many hit records. You're kind of like, man, since the beef been going on, all I've been hearing is Drake. And it reminds me that I've been hearing Drake even before the beef with these same records. Like, he just got so many records out. All I hear is Drake and Chris Brown on the radio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I still don't hear Kendrick, but I think Drake just has this thing that he knows a hit. He done been on so many hit records and been a part of so many hit records. So he just got a niche for that, or ear for hearing and producing a hit record.
Now, this is gonna come out of left field. Since we're on this topic, there's theories out there that Drake, his whole career was manufactured and created by the industry. You know what I'm saying? And you've been in the studio. You've actually been on the floor with Drake and Wayne and Baby and all these cats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's any validity to that?
No. I don't think the culture made Drake. I don't think they would make someone so powerful and talk the game to try to destroy them at the end. So I just think that it's a misunderstanding that's under the surface that the public don't know about. Those guys in that realm, you know what I'm saying, and in that bracket, that tax bracket, you know, they're going through a quarreling and fighting situation. So I think that's something they need to fix.
Nah, I get it. I get it. I understand. Like we're all watching as spectators, and obviously you are too, man. Yo,
Right.
so do you think it's possible, like after this beef or whatever? I mean, they've said some pretty dark stuff about each other. Like, do
Right.
you think where do you think this ends? Like they have an award ceremony and Kendrick's on one side and Drake's on the other. Like they're gonna have to separate them for the rest of their career.
Nah, I don't think it'll be that big like that. I think that, a chain of events that happened to Drake House and at Drake House, and nobody don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody attended it to get physical or crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or I just think that this is the time where everything should just chill. They should just let their records manifest and be big, and let bygones be bygones and keep getting money. I don't think neither one of them want to stop the money though. So I think both of them moving smart and cautious.
Okay, nah, well said. Now it's been proven that their catalogs also have gone up since this beef. Like their back catalogs are going crazy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So with that, they're definitely also getting some money.
Right.
But you foot stomped on a point, man. And it's a horrible point, but Drake's house had recently got shot up. So it looks like some things are taking place in the streets. And do you think, like, just personally, and I don't want you to actually let me rephrase this question because I don't want it to sound too police. But like, my feeling is, I doubt Kendrick Lamar has anything to do with something that happens in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel that's a result of the beef, or it might not be a result of anything doing with the beef?
I think that's just the energy of everything that's going on. I think the energy of the beef, it's just energy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, energy is like, when you put that energy out there in the universe answers with,
Yeah.
reciprocates that energy. So I just think it was just that energy. Motherfuckers done. People like thinking, you know what I'm saying?
And it led to somebody being shot. Actually, a security guard at Drake's house had been shot. And what's crazier is a week before.
Nonsense. Yeah. It's just dumb and nonsense. I don't think it's no room for that in the game no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially at the level these cats are playing at and how much money, like you talked about, that they're getting, right?
Right.
Because I don't know. Tell me if you believe this is cap or not. But some major news outlets have reported that Drake's deal alone with Universal was something like $400 million.
He said he got a loan from him?
No, like his deal was worth $400 million. So for almost like a 360 deal, his likeness, his all audio and visual representation was paid for $400 million back in 2022.
And that's a great move. If you ask me, I mean, somebody that can keep producing great music and keep producing great music for others, I think shit that ain't dumb, you know?
Yeah, because there's always been a rumor of the Drake stimulus package and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's not a rumor. I think that's true. I think you dial into Drake when you want that big sound and you want that big record. You dial into Chris Brown when you want that big sound and that big record and that Chris Brown sound and that Drake sound. So yeah, it definitely is a stimulus package. It's a Brisco stimulus package too.
Okay. So man, let's actually segue out of that into some more of your career, man. Now, you yourself have been on some huge projects, Grammy nominated and all. So you had a feature on the album on the Carter 3. Now, as a standout act on the Carter 3, how did you feel about the success of the Carter 3? I mean, which is widely acclaimed as a hip hop classic album and one of the highest selling albums from Lil Wayne ever, right?
Right.
What was that experience like?
I mean, it was all that was surreal, man. Dream come true. Like I said, I always wanted to be a hot boy. I always wanted to be signed to Cash Money, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So by me getting signed to them, I'm in the studio with Wayne. We just chilling and working and vibing. And Ian walks in, busting rhymes. Um, Busta Rhymes grabs a pen and a pad. I hit his beat. David Banner did this beat. He just sent to Wayne, and it's David Banner beat. It's called La 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 La. So Wayne hears it twice before Wayne walks in the booth. He's like, "Hey, Briz, write to this." You know what I'm saying? Go
Oh,
ahead.
so Lil Wayne signaled to you, letting you know, hey, this you.
Yeah, get in, write to this. So Buster write and I write. As soon as Wayne finished, I write so fast. I go in the studio and I lay my verse. Buster lay his verse. Man, the very next week, we getting ready to do the Carter 3 tour. You know what I'm saying? And they called me and told me I'm on the record. You know what I'm saying? So that just was like so big for me, man. I just was living off that high, being on tour with Cash Money and being on that Carter 3 tour.
Now, what's crazy is the Carter 3 did 423,000 copies the first day of sales. The opening day of sales went on to do 1 million copies in its first week. Like, that was crazy numbers. You know what I mean? So at that time, you're on this album and you're on a song with a legend, Busta Rhymes, and another legend, Lil Wayne. Right. What's that got to feel like for a young cat at the time, man? This is insane.
I mean, I was granted that my ego and where my pen was, ain't nobody could tell me shit. I was in the room with Wayne. I'm from Opelika, Florida. You know what I'm saying? So me being in the room with Wayne was one thing. Busta Rhymes walking in, knowing who I was a whole nother thing. And just being sandwiched in on that song by them greats, man, I count it all joy, man, because, I stood up I stood out, stood in the paint and I stood out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it definitely was nerve wracking, but I was on some other shit. I was on a whole nother level of arrogance. And I was groomed up, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I accepted that challenge.
Nah, well, that's amazing, man. Now, at that point, you are already raking up plaques, right? So, what does it feel like to get your first gold or platinum plaque? And what song did you get your first gold or platinum plaque from or album?
I think it was Rick Ross, the G. You know what I'm saying? That album went plat. That album went gold. I got the first gold from that. And then that Wayne, I think I got that plaque so fast. That was like the fastest plaque I ever got with Wayne. Went platinum in that week. You know what I'm saying? So, man, the plaques just been rolling in, man. Everything I've been on been successful, man. I just thank God for all my success and everything.
Nah, that is wild, man. So, like, for somebody who's a rapper who's just starting out, has big dreams and things like that, for them, looking at your career is like a dream. It's like a dream career. You know what I mean? So for you to actually be living in that and riding that ride, people would love to hear that perspective. So you get your first couple of plaques. Where are you living at the time when all this is going on?
I mean, that night I met Wayne, my life changed that day. I moved out of Opelika. I was staying in the Back Blues at the time. I moved out that motherfucker, went to Miramar, got me a nice little spot. You know what I'm saying? With the mother of my first son, man. We were just out there. It was just me and Bonnie, and I was just on tour. You know what I'm saying? Just moving around. You feel me? Just moving around, trying to prove myself. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you said when you first got put on the La La record from the Carter 3, you guys immediately went on tour, right? So all this is happening relatively fast, huh?
Of course.
Wow.
I mean, I was signed. I'll say I was in talks of signing, and I signed my deal right before we went on the tour.
Okay. So you sign your deal, you're jumping on classic albums, you're doing all this. Life is at, did you get a second to breathe, man?
No. I think Me going to prison was my time to chill. I never got a breather.
Okay, so early in the industry and through all out that time. Now, were you still obviously you signed to Young Money, but how was your deal structured? Because you're a po' boy guy, right? So what?
It was a joint venture with Po' Boy, Cash Money, and Universal was the big guys.
Okay, yeah, Universal's the big guy for everybody now, right?
Right.
Like, they own the industry basically, right?
Right.
So during that time with your deal with Lil Wayne or whatever, you start to be grouped in with the Young Money, Cash Money, YMCMB, and they have the YMCMB album that they dropped. What was the recording project? What was the recording process like that for you for that project?
I was in trouble. I don't know what the I know I was in the county jail and I was in the county jail at that time. I don't know what the I did some probation or something. So I missed that album. But I was there doing the production of that album in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of my I consider one of my shortcomings that I didn't make that album. I knew I would have killed that album.
Yeah, because it's a weird gap. Like you weren't able to be a rapper on the album, but you were also listed. Weren't you listed as a list of the artists? Like when they did the initial splash for YMCMB?
Yes, definitely. Yes, I definitely was. Um, like me moving with Wayne, I was just engulfed in the whole vibe of Cash Money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like everything that came with Cash Money, I was with.
Okay, now
You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Wayne embraced me. I'm signed to Cash Money, but I'm not signed to Young Money. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, Wayne was showing me so much love, man. Anything he did for them, he did for me.
hey, that's great. Now here's a question. It seems like Lil Wayne was looking out for you a lot. Or do you still have a good relationship with Lil Wayne to this day?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Lil Wayne a great guy, man. Lil Wayne ill intentions, never showed me nothing but real genuine love, man. I owe him for that. You know what I'm saying? Just giving me a platform to show my talents in their yard. You know what I'm saying? And coming on their territory. I mean, it was in Miami, but coming to their label and being welcomed with open arms out.
Now, you guys, it seemed like you guys made a second home for Wayne and Cash Money and them, and they kind of showed that love back when they had their second resurgence.
Yeah, it definitely was a reciprocation of you know what I'm saying, of deeds and business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they gave me, like I say, that was my dream come true to be signing Cash Money. So for me to have that opportunity, it was just everything.
All right, so Brisco, man, we've been talking about your career, but I can't leave out one of the biggest parts of your career was you're linking up and always staying true to your po' boy roots. And that was shown specifically with your relationship with Flo Rida, man. So you were on the Flo Rida Roots album, man, and you were really, really showed out on, I think, like 4 different songs. Now, what was it like working with Flo Rida?
Really easy. So he's so musically inclined in all genres. He can sing. He can do everything. So when he came to, I welcomed him with open arms, the same way that Wayne welcomed me with open arms. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was prior to me even signing with Wayne. That Flo Rida came to Po' Boy. But yeah, my Po' Boy roots go deep, man. We brothers first. You know what I'm saying? We're not friends. We're friends that was converted to family. So we family.
But I mean,
my brother, he has obtained so much success, man, and I was able to work on that album and working on that Mail on Sunday album. That shit was amazing, and it took us to a whole nother level internationally. So yeah, that was crazy. That whole thing took me overseas.
And that's probably the biggest point anybody would think about with Flo Rida is the
Right.
fact that, you know, Flo Rida is and especially at that time and still to this day, is an international superstar. It's such a different level of things, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you go overseas to, you know, Europe, to the Arab Emirates, all over the, you
Right.
know, Asia, you know,
Right.
Japan and China. And Flo Rida is a humongous star. And to be a feature on that album as well, it's like, man, people or would be looking at your career, like I said, like, man, this dude was in the right place at the right time through
Yeah.
each step of these different changes in the hip hop industry. So you're on tour, like you've been working with Flo Rida, you appear on Mellow and Sunday, right? Then you
Yes.
double back and you're on 4 different albums on the Roots album. But at
Yeah.
this point, when Flo Rida drops the Roots album, he's at that level. Him, Pitbull, Akon, they
Yeah.
just traveling the world doing global arenas.
Right.
At that time, had you had any experience to get on the road and work with Flo Rida and actually travel with him?
Yeah. Basically, you know, at that time he was at a pinnacle in the height of his career. He was moving around crazy. So, and like I said, I was moving around with Wayne too. So it was like, and I had my own, you know, my Brisco campaign had just launched. So I definitely was moving around. We was moving around. I was getting anytime I had some free time, I could get out on the road and jump on his show. I definitely get on that road and go overseas if I had to get on that road with Flo. Hell yeah. Pitbull was going crazy at that time. Sean Kingston was going crazy at that time. Shit was lit.
Now, I could only imagine being a rapper in South Florida at that time, and your phone you had to probably change numbers every week, huh?
Well, of course. I don't think
Now,
I don't even think I had a concrete phone at that time.
yeah, I get it, man, because it was a lot of motion. But like to be featured on Roots 4 different times, or you know, 4 different, like what was that? What was that experience, man? Could you tell me about that?
I mean, anytime we prepared for an album, we locked in as a collective. You know, when it came to supporting each other's albums, so it was only right. It was so many vibes that was set. There was so many good records that we did. It was only right that I was on so many records.
Nice, man, nice. Now, with working with Flo Rida, was that an in studio experience, and how did that go? Because it's a lot of different huge stars on that album. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
international stars.
I mean, most of the records that we did, me and Flo Rida did, we did it together. You know, a couple records he did with other people. I think via email and you know what I'm saying. We did it over you know what I'm saying. So like
Now,
that.
was that the start of when people first started sending tracks and sending files and stuff like that?
No, man. Like I said, after Mail on Sunday, he was gone. He had got his deal. Carter 3, I had my deal. You know, Roots and all that. Like you understand, that time we was gone. Like you know, our dreams was coming true. We was inking our deals and on the road. You know what I'm saying? So everybody had their own shit going on, but we knew that the Roots was coming out. So guess what we had to do? We had to lock in and make sure this shit was a success and it was a platinum album.
Now, what's cool is you're essentially signed to Universal when you look at the major label, and
Right.
he was signed to Warner if you look at the bigger label, right?
Right.
So those are kind of competitors, but still that you guys reached across, you know, stretched that olive branch and reached across to each other and
Right.
started and we're working on each other's projects, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, when it came to the Po' Boy family, it's like certain things a major label couldn't tell us. You know what I'm saying? And we always had creative control over what we wanted to do, how we made our music. We weren't never filtered or blocked from doing certain things with the music. So shit. Um, I think I think the process of us being, you know, Po' Boy was what kept us together and what trumped a lot of decisions that was made when it came to the labels and me being on records or me getting looks or anything like that.
Nice, nice. Nah, it's good to hear that because you don't hear that a lot. Like people having that sort of loyalty and respect for each other's craft and their original relationship and bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Now, to this day, do you keep any kind of contact with Flo Rida or it does?
Of
Okay,
course, man. We had the greatest debates and arguments and brotherhood of life. So I mean, if you could be a fly on the wall and hear the names that we call each other, and but you could also be if you also was on our bank accounts and seeing how much wires and money we trade. You know what I'm saying? It kind of overrides the bullshit that we go through. And as brothers, we go through things and we handle and face them head on. So yeah, man, I talk to Flo Rida every day.
okay, nah, that's dope. That's dope, man. Because I had heard a story that Fat Joe had told about Flo Rida, where I don't know if you've seen the clip, where he was like basically like Flo Rida, and they asked him to come like do some sort of party or something, and it was like down the street, and Fat Joe was like, he called Flo Rida, was like, hey man, I'm over here, I'm getting this money. They like offered me 100,000, and Flo Rida was at his house, like he could see Flo Rida's house, and Flo Rida was like, yeah, that's not my price, man. Like my price ain't 100,000. It's something crazy. It was like 200,000, something crazy, or maybe like.
I mean, a man's price is a man's price.
I ain't mad at it either, bro. I ain't mad at it either. Now, I gotta ask you this as well. Do you have any crazy stories that you could tell from being on the road with Flo Rida?
We flew into Dubai. Flew into Dubai, beautiful flight, Emirates. We living big. It's going to be a big trip. We working one of these days, but the rest of the days we for the vibe and enjoy Dubai. So I had to smuggle 2 ounces of weed. Long story short, we land 3 Bentleys to pick us up from the airport. We me and Flo jump in 1 Bentley. I go in my bag and start unraveling, just after. My smuggle, I done wrapped this weed so many times in my sock and it's a bandana and some other shit. So I get the weed out. So the driver smells the weed and says, is that weed? It's forbidden here. You'll be beaten 3 days in the desert or you'll be in jail for 56 nights. Hold on. Man, I rolled down my window and threw all that weed out the window. So, that just showed me, I was smoking hookah and everything. I lost my appetite for the rest of the trip. But that shit just showed me that that was a crazy ass spot.
Yeah, they say most people have a problem with that, especially if if you're a daily smoker or something like that. You go over to UAE and whatnot, and they've got really strict laws because they've locked a lot of celebrities up behind that, right?
Of course, they still got some. I heard.
Yeah, true. Like there's rumors that yes, there's a Floyd Mayweather can't get out of there right now. All that, man. So it's like they don't play. They don't play there, right?
Yeah.
Now what about this story about Mexico, man? I think I heard something about that, man. What happened in Mexico with Flo Rida?
I'm on tour with Flo Rida. We in Mexico, man. Listen. Flo Rida performs a 45-minute set. I forget what part of Mexico it was, but it was a nice part. After we performed, we gonna walk down off the stage. Flo's dripping in wet, dripping in sweat, man. Just like he's ready to go shower up, change, so get back to the hotel. Guy stops us and like, nah, y'all have to perform again. There's some guys, there's a whole crowd outside that wants you guys to perform again. You know what I'm saying? So we like, hell no, we not performing again. Especially when talking about no money, they wanted us to perform again for free. So we like that. So we go for try to find our vans. They're gone. So we get into this other. They tell us that okay, they're going to take y'all back to the hotel. Instead of taking us back to the hotel, they take us to back to fucking court.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So when we get there, when we get there, we like, what the going on. They're like, yo, this could be a riot. You guys need to perform. So luckily, the head guy over there was a Flo Rida fan. And he was like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And we made a few calls back to the U.S. I don't know if they called it embassy, but we got picked up that same night. You know what I'm saying? But that was like the craziest shit ever.
Now, were you guys like sweating because Mexico's got a reputation of being very dangerous.
Man, listen, I was scared as shit. First of all, I don't know no Spanish. You know what I'm saying? It was just that was an experience.
And like Martin said on that movie, I can't remember the name of the movie, but nobody wants to go to jail in Mexico, right?
I'm telling you. I heard that shit it's stone. It's, you know what I'm saying? I heard it's nothing but stone, it's metal, and I'm straight.
Yeah, I think everybody good on that. But eventually you guys made it out of that situation all right, huh?
Of course. Yes.
Now with all these different turns and all these big looks that you've had in the rap industry, it seemed like you weren't afraid to cross that aisle and work with different types of acts, because you even stretched across the country and started working with some West Coast acts. You're working with Messy Marv, Burner and Cosmo, right?
Yes.
How was it like working with the cats out west, specifically Northern California? You know what I mean?
Man, shouts out to Glasses Malone too. Those guys over there always show me love, man. Jordan Towers introduced me to Burner. God bless the dead, this guy named Jacker. Out the West Coast, I think he out the Bay. I did records with him. But I always got a lot of love over there, man, on the West Coast. Love the West Coast.
Yeah, when I think about that time that you came in the game and all your albums and then you act, like people probably were still a little enamored with your level of success, man. And I know they're gonna say I'm glazing, man, because I'm giving too much props this whole interview, right? But man, if you really like, especially how I'm looking at your career, it's like you've accomplished some great things. You know what I mean? All right, Brisco. So man, we've gone over your career and seen that you've done some monumental things, man. You've worked with a diverse group of artists. You've been on the biggest and most major albums to ever reach the Billboard's top 10 and everything. But there was a point in your career also where you were on the album and you were mentioned actually still to this day as being up for a Grammy. So what did that feel like, man?
I mean, overwhelmed. He won album of the year that year. It was just overwhelming, man. I just thank God for just putting me in position to meet these people. You know what I'm saying? Even having the grace to meet these people, man. So yeah, man, all this shit has been overwhelming my whole career.
Nah, I get it. Now, to be honest, you ran into a rough patch recently, man, where you actually had to do some time. Now, to clarify this for everybody who's gonna, prior to, but the crimes you were convicted of were white collar by nature, right? But it ended up being Fed charges. So what happened in this whole situation where you were charged to, or I should say sentenced to almost 5 years in federal prison?
Man, it would just be doing some fraud and doing some shit I ain't had no business, you know what I'm saying? But just trying to maintain and uphold the image. Try to be, you know what I'm saying, keep up with the Joneses, my mom used to say. So I just think that I got engulfed in that shit, you know what I'm saying? I had to lay down and do that time.
Now, when you were first sentenced, it hit the news like in 2017, right? And people were shocked. People were shocked because of the level of star you had been in the rap game, man. And you kind of just came clean just right now just to say that, you were just trying to maintain and do different things and ended up getting caught up, man.
Right.
Now,
That's exactly what it was.
Now, when you found yourself in federal prison in the federal system, did you feel like you were being treated differently because of your stardom or that you were a rapper?
Of course, it was definitely easier. It was definitely I definitely had the rapper privilege in there. You know what I'm saying? Um, because I represented I represented Florida, I represented the South, so and by a lot of those guys recognizing me from TV and shit and from the music, I had it easy, I had it really good.
Now, what's crazy is there's a lot of horror stories about the federal system. Now,
Yeah.
with that being said, were you able to move throughout that without any issues, or did you have to face the same type of, politics and rules that everybody else did?
I ain't have no issue. In prison, you just mind your business and speak when you're spoken to. And you know what I'm saying? I think if you just stay doing that, you'll be successful. You'll have a successful release. But yeah, like it wasn't intense. There's a lot of things going on. It's grown men. It's men in prison. It's men that's 80 years old in prison. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that if you govern yourself the right way, and I always tell people my spirit was on the streets. My body and my flesh was in prison, but I was on the streets, getting ready and getting prepared to reintegrate back into society. You know what I'm saying? I was just getting myself together.
Now it makes sense because that's nothing you can get used to. You felt like, huh?
Right. No, I couldn't get used to it. Um, Granted that the food was okay. Granted that I met some great individuals in there, man. Some great guys. You know what I'm saying? That has been my friend after my release. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out to them, man. Shouts out to niggas that's locked up right now. Y'all just hold your head. They can't hold you forever.
Now, during your time, did you do your time at like one of those low level white collar
I
places?
went to the Fed. I went to Big Sandy first. Then I went to Beaumont. Then we went to Atlanta, Oklahoma, then North Carolina, Butler, North Carolina.
Man,
So close to Raleigh, Carolina, North Carolina.
now people hear horror stories about Big Sandy, hear horror stories about Beaumont, Bloody Beaumont, they called it. Like, when you hit those yards, what was your first impression?
I mean, at Big Sandy, we was on lockdown the whole time. I came on lockdown and left on lockdown, but all that shit was bloody and scary. You know what I'm saying? That shit definitely was scary. Beaumont definitely was scary. I was there briefly. Too, but that shit was scary. All that shit was scary. Everything about the fair is scary. You just ain't. It's just a couple women that they officers. Ain't no woman's touch. You know what I'm saying? It's grown men in here. It's niggas that have been in here for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Cocky ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, man, you just got to be careful. And just like I say, the number one rule is to mind your business.
Yeah, man, it sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like a
Yeah.
nightmare. I'm not gonna lie. Now to move on to better things, you get released and then you get greeted home by some of rap's elite, man. Tell that story a little bit, man.
I come home, man. Everybody looked out. Shouts out to Ball Greasy. Ball Greasy, basically, fathered my kids when I was gone. I owe him a lot. Shouts out to Ball Greasy. I love you, bro. Yeah, man. I came home. DJ Khaled gave me $50,000, bro.
That's
DJ
great.
Khaled gave me $50,000. That's kind of like put me back in the right perspective of where I needed to be. You know what I'm saying? Just coming home and just having something. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's, man, people pray for that when they come out. And for Khaled just to bless you like that goes to show how much respect that he has for you, huh?
Of course. Yes.
Now, what was the first thing you did? Did you start to get back into music, or was it just mainly you spent a large time recouping with your family?
Yeah, I definitely did that. I definitely went to the studio. Now my family followed me to the studio, man. It's like, when I was released, they followed me everywhere I went. So, I was definitely ready to get back to doing what I love and what I was comfortable doing, because music is definitely truly my therapy. You know what I'm saying?
Now, in 2019, you went on to release your album Black Roses on Po' Boy
Yeah,
specifically.
right.
Now,
That was me. That was me. You know, when I got out of prison, I dropped Black Roses. You know, my thought process was just, you know what I'm saying, getting everything down that I had wrote in prison. Um, you know, these new ideas, just getting back in the field of the studio. You know what I'm saying? That was basically my whole outlook, and just trying to just get back to my old self and my voice and everything like that.
nah, I get it. No, I get it, man. And it shows that you had a dedication to music. But now, currently, what are you doing as far as music and as far as artists?
Um, Man, I just been trying to pour, you know, my grooming process into another artist. You know what I'm saying? And try to pour these songs and these ideas into somebody else. You know what I'm saying? A little young, little raw nigga that can fill these shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I still been dropping music. I'm dropping the Fun album in a couple months. And I just been staying in the studio grinding, working, you know what I'm saying? Writing, songwriting, you know what I'm saying, composing, everything, man.
Nah, I hear it. And we can't wait to hear more from you. Now, with that, it's been a pleasure, Brisco. I gotta say, man, it has been a
Thank you,
pleasure
man.
having you out and talking to you and catching up. And maybe we have to do this again in the future. We'll see. But
That's it.
it wouldn't be right if I didn't give you the floor to tell us about everything we can see you in, man. If you got a Tubi movie coming out, if you got a big feature picture coming out, if you got anything coming out, let it be known the floor is yours.
Brisco the Open Locker Goon. Brisco Open Locker is my handle on everything. Um, I'm working on Y'all Lay Around for the Fun album. I got a gospel record out right now called Blessings with Otis Kent featuring Brisco. It's called Blessings. Big record. Yeah, man, just tap into everything Brisco. On all social media, tap in Brisco Opalaka, and you will find me. So, man, I just thank y'all. I thank you, Willie, for your platform and everything, my brother. Thank y'all, man.
Nah, this was a solid one, man. This has been a pleasure, man. And I appreciate you coming out. And we out of here. Peace.
Love.